Hi, Ron Pagliarulo here, and I want to continue with the training series on our new updated sales process, the new 10-step process. It is different, so I want to review real quick where we've been. In the first video, what we really did is show you why really implementing the sales process is going to be the number one thing that you can do in your store to increase revenue, to increase profitability, to increase sales. Then in week 2, what we did is we went over the greeting and the approach. So I want to review that with you real quick. Remember, it's not just about exposure, but I know for some of you, this first aspect of being exposed to these concepts is extremely important because you've never heard some of these things that I'm going over. But the real learning comes from seeing it in action and then applying it, practicing it, doing it over and over again, making sure that your staff is doing all these things. So what do we talk about? Number one, the first step in the process is that we want to greet our customers. So I'm going to give a real quick review. We greet our customers. Who greets the customer? Everyone. Everyone should look up, look at the customer, make eye contact with the customer, and they should give some kind of warm, sincere, enthusiastic greeting. Hi, welcome back to Foot Solutions. Good to see you again. Good to have you in the store. Hi, how are you? Something like that. All it is an acknowledgement. So it's within 3 seconds. Everyone should be doing it. You stop what you're doing. There should be someone on the sales floor because then we have to approach the customer. We have to engage the customer in conversation. The sales process has started. Now with the approach, it's very important that someone is always on the sales floor. Remember my recommendations, I said get away from the behind the counter, just sitting behind the counter, because the moment you get up and you have to go walk towards the customer, it's bad body language. If you recall, we said that 55% of what influences a customer's decision of whether they like you and trust you right off the bat is body language. Remember, what makes a customer buy from us is that they like us, that they trust us, and that our recommendations make sense to them. It's that simple. So we've got to make sure that we're doing things that get customers to like us and to trust us. So body language is very important. We said when you approach the customer, use open body language. Don't ever square up face-to-face with the customer. It's very threatening. We said to have a clipboard in your hand. Make sure you have the clipboard in your hand as you approach the customer. You're going to put out your hand, extend your hand, and you're going to introduce yourself. Hi, welcome back to Foot Solutions. I'm Ron, and you are. Get their name. Write their name down. And you're going to ask them the very important question, what brings you in today? You're not going to ask them, how can I help you? What were you looking for? Did you have any questions? Because those are questions that trigger the response, just looking. What brings you in today? That's what you're going to say. Now you're going to listen when they start to speak. Listen to their situation, their scenario, what they start to say. It's very important at this point. They might just say just looking as well. We'll get into that of how to handle the just looking. There's some really cool things that you can do with that. But for most part, they walked into our store for a reason. Hi, welcome back to Foot Solutions. I'm Ron, and you are. Get their name. Nice to meet you, John. What brings you in today? And then after they say what brings them in, then what we're going to do is we're going to next go into the next step, which is step 3. It's the I-Step scanner. Some other important things about the approach. Remember to use good body language. Remember to smile. Remember to make sure that you look the part. Your shirts are ironed. Your pants are ironed. Your breath smells good. Your hair looks good. You're looking up as a professional, not just as a slouch going in there because it's another day of work. That's going to really inhibit people from liking you. We also said to be honest with customers. Don't make things up. Don't be the pushy salesperson. You really want to use rapport and build rapport with people. Find things that are common with them. This is in the engagement and the approach part. This is the part that you can just have fun. You can relax. You can build the relationship. I can't really teach you how to do this because you're going to have to get comfortable in your own skin of what you're doing. So that's the quick review of where we've been. Now let's look at what are we going to do next, and that's the scan. So after we just asked that question, what brings you in today, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get them on the I-Step scanner. Now, let's talk about the details of this. Why go to the I-Step? Why are we advocating using the I-Step scanner? And there's a reason for it. We want to establish, remember, every part of the sales process leads to the next part of the sales process. It builds value, it builds credibility, but the scanner The iStep scanner is an unbelievable machine that measures down to the centimeter. It's different than using the Branix device, right? So it establishes authority and credibility quickly. It sets us apart from the competition. This isn't the same thing you're going to go get by stepping on a Dr. Scholl's scanner at Walmart or the drugstore self-service. You are part of the process. And it also builds value of the complete holistic foot analysis that we're doing. And it creates an expectation of the next step in the process. So that's the key here. Why are we going to the scanner? Some of you are debating whether to use it or not. I think the debate should be put to rest. It's absolutely, I believe, an important part of it. We're advocating it. We're saying go ahead, get the scanner because it's going to help you make more sales because it's a credibility piece. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, when do we get them to the seat? Well, if you've been through the review of the sales overview that you'll have, you'll see we still get to the seat. But what we're doing is doing something a little bit different. So, after approaching and engaging the customer, we asked, what brings you in today? You listen. Then you're going to say, when was the last time you had your feet scanned? Pretty much for no matter what they say, we're going to say, okay, well, let's go ahead and start with that and get your feet scanned. Come over here, follow me. Let's go get your feet scanned. Go walk. Just immediately start walking over there. They'll come. It's something that's unique. It's something that's fun. It's something that's exciting. It's something that's more cutting edge. And it's going to be a different setup than getting them in the seat because we have to take an approach that we're not just a shoe store. We are not a shoe store. We are providing the total solution. So after approaching and engaging the customer, that's what we ask. When was the last time you had your feet scanned? Let's go ahead and start with that. Now, important reminders. This scanner is not meant to be self-service. Even though they might want us to use it that way, even though they want to try to copy the Dr. Scholl's, we're using it for a different aspect. And it's to build credibility and authority of what we're doing. So you should always be with the customer while they're getting on the scanner. You walk the customer through the scan. Have a seat near the scanner because they're going to have to take off their shoes. If you want to take off their shoes for them, I recommend it, but definitely roll up their pants. You're getting, all these things are differentiating factors. You roll up their pants if they've got bare feet. Make sure to have the nylon try-ons on available so they can put them on their feet for hygiene reasons. We are not using the scanner as a tool to sell more OTC orthotics. So you might be thinking, oh, is it a tool that just has sizzle just because it recommends an orthotic? That's not the reason we're using it. This is our opportunity to shine and to start setting the stage of what the rest of the things that we're going to do throughout this process here. So, number one, the scan process. You rolled up their pants. You say, okay, have a, stand over here. Put your feet on over here where you see the 2 feet marks. Their pants legs should be rolled up. You tell them to stand still, stand straight. And as soon as they step on the scanner, it's going to start going through the process. Now, number 2, I highly recommend that you put survey tracking on, where it's going to ask for your associate's ID. I'll show you how to do this towards the end of this training of how do you actually enter that in. Why do you want to do this? You want to do this because you want to make sure that you can track how many scans your associates are doing on a weekly basis. I get the weekly report from my stores. I could see how many people were scanned. I could see what each associate is doing, and that's an accountability tool. Again, so this alone, for the ability to improve accountability, is worth it just for this one fact here. Right? It's a part of our sales process, and now I could go back and look if people are using this part of the sales process or they're skipping it. For 1 week in one of our stores, I saw one person did 9 scans. I saw another person did 10 scans for the week. And then I saw another associate, full-time associate, did 2 scans for the week. You know what that means? We got to go back and have a conversation that something is not right. We're not following the process. So it's going to ask for your associate ID. You put it in, doop, 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 put it in here. And then it's going to ask, I recommend that you capture the customer's email immediately. I do recommend that you put the Atrex newsletter off Even though it could be branded towards Foot Solutions, it still has links in there that could bring people into different directions that they don't want them to go. What we can do is capture that email so they can get a copy of their scan with the Foot Solutions logo on it. Make sure you have the Foot Solutions software installed, the Atrix version of the Foot Solutions Atrix version of the software. But that email could be imported into your constant contact account, and it could be added that way. So it's very important that I would say you capture the customer's email. Would you like to receive your foot scan? If they say no, you just hit no thanks. If they say yes, a little keyboard appears right on the screen. It's touchscreen. They enter in their email. You've got their email. Now, understand one of the other big parts of why we're doing this scan with the iStep is it sets the stage of everything else that we're going to do. Remember, you do things so often, and we do things that we forget that it provides value for a customer. You know, I was in a store one time, and I said, okay, go through the whole process with me. And the associate, I noticed, didn't do the motion analysis, the gait analysis. I said, why didn't you do that? He said, well, I did it when you walked in. I noticed your feet. But does that mean any value to me? No, it doesn't. I said, why did you do the bone demonstration? Well, you know, it didn't really apply to what you were asking for. No, you skipped a step and you devalued the whole process here. So you're setting the stage. What did we do? We said, when was the last time you got your foot scanned? They said, I don't know. It's been a while. Last week. Okay, well, let's start with that. You get them on the scanner. They step on the scanner. You rolled up their pants legs. They step on it. You tell them to stand still. It starts the process. It asks for the associate ID. You put that in. It asks for the email of the customer. They could skip it or put it in. And then the process starts scanning. While it's scanning, you've got about 10 seconds, 15 seconds of time. Don't just make that empty blank time. What you're going to say is, okay, well, I want to let you know while you're getting the scan done that our number one goal is to provide a total solution that helps you feel better, look better, and perform better. And the other thing you're going to say is this scan is only one part of our complete holistic foot analysis that we provide. Why is that important? Because you're setting the stage for the next step in the selling process. You're setting the stage that this is more than just coming in and buying shoes. You're setting the stage for the total solution that you're going to be providing. Just having this opportunity to do this is important. They're standing, waiting. You can see the little lights. The screen's changing. It shows it does the countdown. Our number one goal is to provide a total solution that helps you feel better, look better, and perform better. This scan is only one part of our complete holistic foot analysis that we provide. About 10 seconds goes by, 15 seconds goes by, and bam, their scan's going to come up. If you'll notice on the screenshot that I have here of what we're using, there's a blank screen. For right now, I have it set that way purposely because I don't want it recommending an orthotic. I'm not using the iStep scanner to sell orthotics, over-the-counter orthotics. I'm using the iStep scanner to build value and credibility and authority. So what happens when you see their feet come up, you can see the pressure map and all the heat spots. You click on it. You're going to click on that, and it enlarges it. And the other button you're going to click on in just a moment is My Feet, and I'm going to tell you why. If you notice, we have our settings set that it shows their arc type. It shows the pressure, where the most pressure is on their foot. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, if you can see, it says the size, women's first, men's second. And it's going to make the size recommendation. Why we took that away from being on the center of the stage is because we don't want it to be a problem if it's bigger than what the customer's foot says. Well, that can't be right. I always wear a 10. How could you tell me that I'm an 11? I'm always an 8. It says this thing is not accurate. No, we're gonna build up the accuracy and the credibility of this machine in just a second. So you click on it, and then what happens is you're going to have your size and width in the lower right-hand corner. We've got the blank screen, so it's showing the orthotic is set to custom, and there's no pictures in that. We're looking at if we could get the Perfetto logo to come up on there. You click on the scan on the left-hand side, and it comes up. What do you want to do? You want to get your little stylus, draw on the screen, show them, wow, I can see your arch here. There's a lot of spots where your foot could need extra support. I can see that there's a lot of pressure over here in your heels. Draw on the screen. Notice in the heat spots, I call this psychic reading, where you could say, oh, do you have a little bit of pain right here in the ball of your foot? Oh, sometimes you'll see a real prominent pressure spot, and you say, you know what, do you feel you have any bunions or calluses, right here? I could see that's what's going on. Yeah, you do. How'd you know that? Because I could see your pressure of where you're putting your pressure on your foot. Do you feel any discomfort at all in your feet? Ask them that question. Remember, not pain. Ask them if they feel any discomfort anywhere. And this little box right in the middle where I have the line going down is their center of balance, so you can start to see if their body is aligned or not, if their body is in alignment. So now what you do is you click the back button, and then what I want you to do is click on where it says My Feet. And when you click on My Feet, this comes up, and believe me, everything that you need to do to explain the scan is on this page. It shows their arch type, right? It shows their pressure. I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to let you know, Mr. Jones, that I can see that your right foot is a little bit bigger than your left foot. This machine measures down to the exact centimeter. It's very, very accurate. It's even more accurate than the Brannock device. It's going to show them their width. I could see that your left foot is a little bit wider than your right foot. Remember, the shoe size, I can see based on the fact that you're 28.65 centimeters and 29.25 centimeters on your right foot, I'm saying the recommendation's probably going to be somewhere in about a 14, if they were a woman, that's a big foot, or a 13E, somewhere in that category. But we're going to try on some shoes and make sure we get the best fitting shoes for you. You could basically read this line right here. Have the audio off, by the way, on your settings. I'll go over that in just a minute. But look, you can read this. Okay, according to this, you have medium arches. Approximately 60% of the population has medium arches, so you're in good company. Medium arches are often biomechanically efficient, but still can be susceptible to common foot problems such as heel pain or ball of the foot discomfort, kind of like what's going on here in your scan. Typically, imprints or I-step scans for your foot show approximately half your arch area with a well-defined forefoot, and so you have a pretty good arch going on here. Your feet are always on the go and will greatly benefit from some extra cushioning, shock absorption, and support. Man, this is great because you're setting the stage of what we're going to be doing when we get to the total solution. The right footwear and foot orthotics can help you achieve proper body alignment, relieve pressure from your rear foot, and maintain a healthy and active lifestyle. We don't really have to go over anything more in the bells and whistles of this scan here. We got their pressure, we could see their body, their alignment, their center of gravity. We could see what type of arch they have. We could see their length. We could see their width. We could go ahead and give them a little bit of education. We could talk about if there's any discomfort. We're done. You're not on this thing for 5 minutes. You're on this thing for about a minute and a half. That's about it. 2 minutes, the absolute most. Now, some of the settings I want to talk about here that you should go back and set up in your iStep. If you don't have the iStep Nova, you can't do the size, you can't do the width like I'm talking about. I highly recommend that you upgrade. Just contact Andrew from Atrex. He'll get you set up and replace the current machine that you have with the new Nova, and you'll go forward with the new program. What are we doing? We're establishing authority. We're establishing credibility. We're setting the stage for the next steps in the sales process. We're setting the stage and the expectation that we're going to be providing a total solution. We're creating a differentiating factor here and an experience that we are not a shoe store that just comes and goes and fetches shoes for you. We're going to provide a total solution. So, on this screen, let me go back one screen here. You see this little gold eye? If you click on that little gold eye, it brings you to the setup screen, which is right here. A couple things I want you to set up in your store. Number one, your store setup for the cloud. What does that mean? Well, what's going to appear on the scans when they get them, your phone number, whose email address should be in here for the weekly statistics and reporting. You can see I have mine. I have a password set up for the cloud. I've got the contact name, the store web address. Go in here and change this to your store web address. It'll be part of the scan when they get them. And then I'm going to check off that I want to receive weekly statistics emails, so I can see how many scans are done and who's scanning them. I save it. Another thing you want to set up is the general options. You can turn the audio on for the instructions, which is the first 10 seconds. It says, please stand still and please keep your head straight. Don't move while we're doing the scan, something to that effect. You could have that on, but I want to use that first 15 seconds to set the stage of why we're doing this scan and what our goal is to help them with the total solution. Notice that I have show width in bottom right hand corner. Got that clicked. Show length in bottom right corner. Got that clicked. Display size US, display width letter, and the rest of the things you can have here. I want my iStep password protected in this field here because I don't want my employees going behind the scenes and changing things without my permission. So I password protect the ability to get into the setup. I want to show the center of gravity. And then, okay, I've got that set up. The other thing in the subscription setup on the iStep, I don't want you to, my recommendation is to turn the Footprints newsletter off. I want to shut off the reminder letters as well. We can go back and look at those in the future, but that's what I want. I want the Footprints off. I want the reminder letters off. Then this is in the scan tracker settings in the setup. I want to use scan tracker. When it comes up, the person gets on the scan, we're going to use the numeric keypad. That pops up. So I want the codes to be number based of my associates. And I want to show the rep's name that it pops up. So you're going to have to add an ID for your employees, their name, an email, which is not needed. And then you go ahead and click add. So now when they log in, they have a number that they're going to use so I can track for accountability reasons what they've been doing. Now, you're going to also set up your apps. You could set up whether you want 3D, sandbox, numeric, the wavy gravy. These are just all sizzle things, but to me, the MyFeet, max pressure, I think, is very, very important. So I have max pressure on. The rest of them, you could have a numeric pressure so you could pinpoint to the exact spot of where the pressure is on their foot. But these are just more sizzle here. You could set these things up. I have all the audio on off for the apps because I don't want this thing talking. It's not a self-service device to me, this iStep scanner. It's a tool and a resource that we use that we direct the customer through. The orthotic categories in the setup, I change it to CSS. I save it because I don't want them recommending an orthotic and think that's what the customer thinks that this is what this is about. This is not a Dr. Scholl's machine where you come in, step on your feet, and it recommends an orthotic for you. For me and for how we're using the process, that's not how we're using it. Your apps that you could have on, you can have the iStep to go, Save Scan, which I recommend so you can actually go back and recall it another time. If they've been to the store the next time. That's why if they said, oh, I was here 2 months ago, great, let me recall your scan, and we could look at if anything's changed from the last time. A couple other things is your educational apps. I have almost all the educational apps off. I like iStep Pro. It does give a little bit more details of the measurements if you really wanted to show that. Measurement, you could take off. You don't need that on. Max pressure, I said on. The MetPad, I wouldn't even put that on. You don't need that. That's an educational-based thing. But MyFeet and iStep Pro are two that I would definitely have on. Now, that's all we're going to really talk about right now. I've made this. I want to keep these videos somewhat short so you can watch them pretty quick. In the next video, we're going to talk about what do you do when a customer says, I'm just looking? How do you keep the conversation going? So, we greet the customer. Everyone greets them within 3 seconds. We're out there on the sales floor. We go approach the customer. We shake their hands. We build rapport. We introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Ron, and you are. What brings you in today? Then we're going to go ahead and say, when was the last time you had your foot scanned? Let's go over here and get with that first and get your foot scanned. Then we go through the scanner. We put in our associate ID. It tracks when we do our scans. And what are we going to say when they step on it? We're going to say, well, I just want to let you know our number one goal is to provide a total solution for you so you feel better, look better, and perform better. This scan is just one part of our complete holistic foot analysis that we do. After you do that, you're going to go ahead and review the scan. And then we're going to get into step number 4 in the next training video. So I hope this helped you. Go out there and practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. Repetition is the mother of all skills. So make sure you're doing that. And I'll see you in the next training video. Make sure to put your comments, questions below here.